This has been a global hunt to uncover the next generation of CSGO megastars. 8 influencers serve as captains, and through extremely tough auditions where thousands applied, they picked the 4 best amateurs from their regions to serve in their teams. Each team trained and played in their own exciting locales, but they all had one thing in common: the drive to win. Now, the time of reckoning has finally arrived. Months of preparation have led to this, where the teams will face off in an epic battle. Welcome, everybody, to Join the Republic.
After 6 grueling months of competition, this is where everything comes to an end. 8 CSGO captains from across the world, each with 4 amateur counterparts. Welcome, everybody, to day 1 of ROG Join the Republic. Welcome to the desk of sorts here on day 1 of ROG Join the Republic. I say of sorts because we are on chairs. I am Parla, also known as Mantrus, and I'm joined by Pansy and Shiva. Guys, how are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Super excited to be here and getting back into CS, and what a sick opportunity to do it as well.
What a great way to start the year, right, Shiva?
It's amazing to see all these guys have a new opportunity, and to see all the team captains really work hard to try and give it a roll.
Yeah, let's give a quick rundown of the main competition. So, 8 captains from around the world, comprising of professional CSGO players and people just involved in the game, playing at a high level. They had to form teams of 4 amateurs with them, and then they compete. And we are going to go through the captains. Guys, we have Isaac, we have Zonix, we have Flom, Skyart, Sponge, Luke, Adrian, and of course, Michaelele. Michaelele was the guy that started this whole thing off with me at DreamHack Summer. It was pretty explosive. His team, potentially the most competitive. What do you think? Massively
so. You know what, the Swedish scene, there's so much to be said about it, but just because we're not seeing them yet, I'm going to ignore them. Just for the sake of it, I'm going to go over to someone else for a little while. I'm going to look at someone like Zonix, right? Yes. Because that Gamescom video, for one, was hilarious. The guy is an animal, but what he brings to a team is huge. He's a legend in the German scene, you know, Mouse Sports, wherever you want to look, back in 1.6. This guy was the spearhead of the whole community almost. These guys looked up to him. So the team, it's a huge opportunity for them, and what an honor it will be for them to play with him and get to really understand what's behind one of the main men like out in the German scene. Indeed, and the actual opponent that Zonix is going to be playing against very shortly is Isaac from Poland. Yeah. He had an interesting start to his team because he didn't exactly follow the typical formula. Would you like to expand on that, Shiva?
So, Isaac, if you were to look up the route that all the teams have taken here, you would not have been able to find anything about Isaac because the video was not there yet. And that means we don't technically know how he chose his team. But that's fine. We trust Isaac. But it seems that somehow there was a player that used to play CS competitively.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know the complete detaels about how talented his team is, but there's a guy on the team called Neeks who is very good at CS, and he was playing at a pretty high level at one point. Only time will tell exactly how that pans out.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have that much time to practice as well, and if you compare that to, for example, a team like Michaelele, they started at DreamHack Summer, so they've had like half a year, even more than that, to prepare and to practice, and Team Online Europe, which is Isaac's team, is only recent, it's very fresh, so they have a little bit less time to prepare, so perhaps they needed that little bit of a leg up in order to make it here. Yeah, and let me talk a bit about 2 of my favorite picks for this tournament, Michaelele's team and Flom's team. So Michaelele, of course, had the luck of, you know, doing his whole thing at a DreamHack Summer. So many people there were already there for CS, and so the competition was rife with high-level skill. And then in a similar light, Flom managed to kind of like find the same success in America. That team are super passionate, really interesting, and him as a captain, you know, these 2 guys are great leaders, and, you know, so far, I think these guys, for me, are the front runners. I tend to agree, but I would throw a spanner in the works in the fact that Flom isn't feeling very well. That is true. The guy is very, you know, he's super supportive of his team. He's a real character that can bring people together, and it is a real bonding experience as such, and you need that in a captain. If he's feeling a little bit down, a little bit, you know, not feeling as fresh on point,
there's room for people to just kind of get straight in there and overtake him, because everyone's got to turn up on the day. It's not like they've had years of practice, not like this huge team coming together. It's that kind of dry run almost. You just got to go straight in and play well. So hopefully for those guys, Flum's on point, otherwise there could be trouble there.
Yeah. Talking about two other strong captains, Sponge, one of the veterans of CS in general, but also especially Australian CS, and his team, they're looking pretty good, pretty formidable, and in a similar sort of light, we have also Luke from Taiwan, and so he is the captain of the Taiwanese team. They're actually a team from that region that were kind of like already together, and so I think his leadership is going to be absolutely, you know, a massive advantage to those guys.
And I think it's an interesting dynamic as well. They're coming from a region that doesn't necessarily have that many representatives in comparison to the others. So they're going to come in as an actual collective, but then you think individually skilled, can they then match up against other scenes that have bigger kind of playing pools? So again, so many unique dynamics coming through this, and I think Luke is going to have to try and kind of, I guess, speed up the process of them, one, having that individual skill ability, and two, to be able to try and compete against those European, those NA regions that are so darn hard to break into.
Just quickly before we move on to some amazing news from Shiva, Adrian is the final captain. He is, of course, he was most recently playing on Liquid, and he's played on a bunch of different teams over time. He formed his team online, much similar to Isaac, and so it's going to be very interesting to see how that whole situation pans out for him. Now, Shiva, I hear that you've got some pretty cool stuff that you would like to share.
So we have 4 days of CSGO. This is great. It's a great competition. We all want to know who comes out ahead, but there's another competition going on at the same time, because these 8 captains will also participate in the Captain's Challenge. Now, I know you guys are all curious about how everybody's going to do playing CSGO, who's going to come out ahead, but I know that there's also a question on you guys' mind on some other things that the captains
What other
might
things,
do.
Shiva? Please explain.
Hit us with this.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to see is, I mean, everybody always wanted to know this.
You haven't.
What?
You haven't answered the one question.
I've done it. I have the answer to the one question. Better yet, later tonight, you're going to find out that answer to the one question. And the question, of course, is, how do these guys do in sumo wrestling?
She's done it.
It's been on the tip of my lips. It's been on the tip of my lips. Ever since I first played Counter-Strike at the age of 14, I was always thinking, these guys I'm playing against, how would they be in sumo? Shiva, should we take a look?
Let's take a look. Let's do it. Welcome to the basement of sumo wrestling. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath down here, but remember, rule number 1, do not talk about sumo wrestling. Let the sumo challenge begin. Behind me there are 18 captains, and they are going to wrestle each other. So let's get going. Everybody in a suit. March it.
I think Makalele looks like the fittest, so I'd say it should be the strongest. I don't think I have any strength at all, so I'm gonna go out in 2.
I might have to throw up again. Okay.
They haven't yet gotten into it, but I think that once the brackets start, they'll definitely find their footing.
It smells pretty bad in here. Yeah.
That's not good.
I don't think I'm gonna win.
You know what? If you win fast, you can get out of that fast.
Have you seen the Polish fight though?
Okay, you lost.
They're crazy.
You ready?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
Fight! Come on. I feel tired because I had the last fight during the warm-up, so I still need a break.
We might give him a small break, but then we're going to get into the actual brackets with Isaac versus Onyx.
What a wonderful way to experience.
You haven't seen it all yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
there's more to come.
So I can already give you a hint. So this was a warm-up.
This was a warm-up for something more intense?
So great CSGO brackets. We did the same brackets in sumo wrestling. So after tonight, you already know who's going to win, because whoever wins at sumo wrestling wins at life. and therefore wins at CSGO.
I'm pretty certain that's like an age-old phrase that's been muttered many times throughout the centuries.
I think so too.
Either way, it's time to move on. Just quickly though, we didn't give a bit more detail on Skyart, the French captain too. I just slightly missed that out. He is a very strong leader. He's very mindful, very focused, and those guys are going to, I think, do pretty well under him. And so it's going to be interesting to see if he can bring those guys together and really get the best out of them. Now, moving on to the guest portion of what we are about to do. We have someone who's going to come and join us on the sofa. Shiva, it is time for you to depart. She will be back shortly,
I will be back.
of course.
With more sumo wrestling.
Exactly, later in the show. But for now, who do we have, Lauren? Would you like to introduce them?
He can wrestle Crocs.
Yes.
He can't wrestle the poles, but it is Sponge who'll be joining
everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage.
That was a really
Chad, Sponge, Birchill, I haven't seen you in about a month and a half. We spent some time together in Australia. We had a good time. How's the experience been so far for you?
Yeah, pretty cold. Is my mic working? I think it's
I think it is working. We're good to go. No, we would know if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So you're good to go.
You can hear me?
I can.
Yeah, it's really cold here. I don't know if people know it gets cold in Sweden about this time of the year.
No,
didn't notice. Really cold.
Didn't notice at all.
And you are now here with your team ready to compete. How are the guys looking, can I ask?
Tired. They're all complaining about the long travel.
Other than the jet lag. Other than the jet lag.
The excuses are going to come out.
He hates it as well. It's just excuses already.
The excuses are going to come out constantly. We need them. We need something, right?
It's nice having Vox Eminor essentially back with us again.
What do you mean?
What?
No, can I just say though, Sponge, I actually have high hopes for your team. You're one of the guys, one of the teams that I think could pull out a result because of your leadership, dude. Those guys respect you a lot, and some of them pretty high caliber players.
Are you just saying that to everybody?
No, dude. You're the first person.
No, he is. He's been walking around saying to everyone.
Yeah, like I tried to pick the best team I could, obviously. I think Deoxide's the man to watch in my team. He's played at a decent level before, and him having this opportunity now is a pretty good one. And I think he'll be the star of the squad.
Yeah, well, I think he played very well in the qualifier, no?
I grabbed him from the online portion. I had a little online portion, and then he came, and then he played in the finals. The other three of them all came from the PAX event itself. And that was a hard one to pick because there was another two players in that game who could have gone either way with them.
But no, I've got to ask, how's it actually coming together as a team? Do you think you've actually got some sort of, like, I guess, strategy? Or, like, how much have you been able to get done here? Because, was it summer in Oz, wasn't it? Or, like...
We haven't played any Counter-Strike together at all.
Nice.
Well, actually, we played 5 rounds.
So it's just like a mental game sort of thing coming in.
You mean you haven't played any Counter-Strike with your team?
Mate, I've been on holidays. I was in Canada.
No. I can actually see, I'm not even lying. I can see Sponge's girlfriend off
They are
going,
strong.
Hey, you've got your time.
I had to ask if I could come do this tonight, you know?
All right, Sponge, thank you very much for that time right now, elaborating on your story so far. But we should start turning our attention to exactly what's going on in the first match. It is Isaac versus Zonix, and we should maybe look at the story of the team. So let's take a look at the story of Zonix's team.
At Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, our captain had a pretty clear goal on what he wanted and how to secure a spot at the boot camp.
When you try to compete here against me, you got balls. At home, it's like too cheesy. So if you win here against me, it's a pretty safe slot, to be honest.
Many tried, but in the end, it was only one person that could beat him.
You are the only person that beat Zonix in the 1v1 challenge. Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
At the end of the day, Zonix chose 10 players to join him in the next stage, where he would finally pick out his team for the grand finals.
It's been a tough travel, and it will be a hard weekend. But we need to keep our spirits up, and I want to see your best, so let's go, guys.
I think my chances are normal, like for everyone here. Just have to show him our skills.
At the boot camp, Zonix finally picked his team after some long and intense tests.
I want to start with you, Trash Hero. Come on, guy. I'm Sun, you're the next. The third player is you, Driven. But the last player I pick It's you, Moon. Come on.
And after gaming in an impressive medieval landscape, the team is now ready for the next step.
11! Leave the horse alone, we have practice!
Anders and Semler are loving these little vignettes. They are brilliant videos. And there was a bit of humour in there in the fact they were playing in a field. They had to be hard and ready to go, you know. They were in like the wilderness, right?
You're calling Germany the wilderness?
Well, no, they were in a field. They were in a field, you know, as in terms it's like they're out in the wild. Don't twist what I said, guys. I mean, they're out in the forest, wilderness, you know. There were horses.
Yeah, that's really wild.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, whatever. Look, guys, all right, I think it was a valid point. These guys had to be ready to go. They were trained up on rugged terrain next to a castle. That was intense.
Yep.
I think we should have gone on the cool route, maybe not the intense route.
Okay, well, you're a cool guy, so please continue.
Where do you want me to steer this?
Let's go back to the point,
I do not mean to put the pressure on you, but look, these guys' team journey has been very, very tough. There was a unique thing about this is that it was all 10 of them in a house, as opposed to just 4.
Yeah.
And so he had to, like, break that team down whilst they were all around each other, and that's like...
awkward as hell. You're breaking people's hearts. Like, I know we can make light of the captains, you know, but these players, this is a huge chance. You know what I mean? Like, these guys get to play with people they're looked up to, like, you know, like yourself for the Australian guys, Zonix for the German team, and then to have him, for example, just cut them, and they're still sat there like, well, this is really awkward now. I have to just sit here and know that I wasn't that good. It's got to be harsh.
That looked like the German version of The Bachelorette, right? Just no roses.
Well, this is kind of like CSGO reality TV, and it is it's very, very, you know, telling how serious some of these guys are taking it, you know. The players that are involved, a lot of them have put so much time into this, and they've really worked so hard, and I'm sure it's the same for Isaac, and we do have his story too, and how his team have got here. So why don't we take a look?
While 6 of the 8 teams had their tryouts in different physical locations all over the world, 2 teams did things differently. One of these was Isaac and his team of online warriors, chosen from players doing their tryouts online. All 5 players met for the first time in an apartment in Barcelona in Spain.
Okay, so... Slight issue with that video, don't worry, we will get back to it, hopefully. But just going back to what we were talking about with regards to these teams and the players, they poured so much into it. Sponge, maybe you can kind of like tell us a bit about your guys on your team and the personal experience so far.
I was the one who was unable to do so because of I was had a planned holiday, but I think they did some practice without me and stuff. And for a lot of these guys, I was talking to the people from other teams. Flom was telling me one of the guys like quit his job or something, you know, for this kind of thing.
That was in the video.
That's in the video.
That's intense, right?
It really, really means a lot to these guys. And it just shows how much they're putting into this and how much they're willing to risk to win, because there is that small chance you could get recognized from this and it could change your life.
And this is the thing, like, as much as, you know, this may not be the instant start, as I said, it's getting the name out there. It's people seeing these players, you know, consistently appear from regions. For example, like the Swedish scene, if you get towards, you know, breaking towards the top of it, we've seen so many new teams recently, and, you know, even the tier 1 teams picking up these kind of newer players and people going, oh, who are these guys? And then them absolutely destroying people. So if someone comes into this, spanks it, everyone's be going, okay, well, maybe this guy's got a little something. So there's always that chance of actually being able to really prove yourself individually. Maybe not as a team, sure, but as an individual, there's so much room to be shown here.
Yeah, it's also something to look at with regards to these players that kind of you might have heard of before. Like, for instance, you've said that you've got some Dioxide on your team. He's got a slight profile for being a good player from Australia. And then you also have someone on Sweden, Lolzy. No, Lolzy, Michaelele's little prodigy, so to speak. He was in the original Play It Cool event that we did at the end of 2015. And he's, like, legit pretty good at the game. And, like, so these guys are kind of, like, appearing, reappearing. And it's a chance to really cement that whole, you know, your own not legacy, but your whole star if you can perform highly. What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, I think Lauren's spot on. For the captains, like, it's more about a pride thing, right? You know, we're playing to represent our countries, and the picks we made. For the players, it's about potentially kickstarting a career in esports, which I'm sure they'd all love. You know, this is a game that they all put a lot of time into, and they're passionate about it. And You know, to get an opportunity to play on a level like this, a lot of people spend their whole life trying to get to this point, and these guys have been given an opportunity and they want to give it their best, you know? Yeah.
What I think is great as well is that there is quite a age range in terms of who's been picked. For instance, you've got young players like Lolzy on Michael Ehley's team, Team Sweden, and then you've got young players on the US team. Elba is a guy that stood out very, very strongly in Flom's auditions on the American team, and you also have some older players, you know, around like our age, 26, 27, 28, you know what I mean?
I love that that's now old.
It is. I mean, it is technically an esports, right?
And even leading off from that, to get a younger player into the mentality of how to play a team game, right? And this is something that Zonix actually brought up in his piece when they did the full interview. If they watch you, go out there and watch a video on YouTube, he's saying, you know, how they approach comms, for example, how, you know, a young player can then pick up exactly what Zonix would say. Zonix, for example, would make a very basic call. He would sit there and go, all right, I'm just going to flash in main. And then he was waiting to hear if someone would go, all right, let me see if I can help you. I'm going to push Squeaky. I'm going to do something, you know what I mean? Just that little bit of extra, just kind of understanding what to kind of bring into this rather than just being a pug star, which a lot of, you know, people come up playing, you know, your various avenues. You can do it through, you know, whatever way you want to. It's learning how to operate within a team. Do you think that these captains as such can speed that up for individual younger players?
They could definitely point them in the right direction. Yeah. Like, I was thinking about the way that I was going to call for the team, and I'm going to let the players do kind of what they feel and then just, you know, help them in the middle of the round. I don't know if that's going to be the same tack for everybody. Aggression is probably an easy way to fix issues when you're in a pug environment, right? You be aggressive on the CT side and the T side, and you just kind of hope that you go into the battle and come out on top, which is always a good fallback for this kind of stuff. In terms of you know, in-depth strategy, there's not a lot you can do because there's certain things.
Time for it as well.
You can't teach these people super quickly. It's a huge learning curve, you know, and it takes time to learn all this stuff and all the little intricacies of Counter-Strike.
We are almost ready to run that video, so that will be up very shortly. Chad, you know, what would you say the most important thing as a leader to these amateurs is?
I think just a positive attitude. You know, for them, they don't really. He's on vacation.
I hope we pick that up.
Vacation.
And it's literally just shouted not being on vacation.
Yeah, that's probably a bad thing, right?
Don't pretend you didn't hear, Chad. That's just weak. Accept your flaws, mate, all right?
I was too busy thinking of a good answer. But, no, I think it's really important, you know, to be positive, and that's about it. If I had practiced with them more, I'm sure, you know, we might see better results. But you never know. Maybe this is what we need. Everyone's relaxed this time of year. At home in Australia right now, this is the long holidays because it's summer. Everyone's out there enjoying the 40 degrees. So for us, it's a bit different. You guys are here. It's winter.
Yeah, I forget it's the other side of the world. Yeah. Everything's upside down. Because out here we have a lot of snow in Stockholm right now.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
It's nice. Do you like the snow?
I'm over the novelty already.
You were just in Canada as well.
Exactly. That's why I'm over the novelty.
Okay.
You know, walking around in it, your shoes get all wet. You had to buy special shoes. Gotta wear special pants.
I miss the thongs.
Exactly, right?
I'm not used to.
It's cold.
This.
I can't go around in thongs at the moment. I've still got my leg hair growing back from when I decided I need to wax it for charity. That's not even keeping me warm anymore.
No.
Yeah, well, I don't think the video is quite ready yet. We are still...
Can we go into more depth about his leg hair?
Yeah, we can go into more depth about the leg hair. Well, let's see the progress on the growth.
Oh, it really is just that.
Look how shiny it is.
Oh, it looks a lot worse on camera.
It looks really bad.
You look like a chicken thigh or something on camera.
That looks terrible.
It's not great, but it's nice that you've kind of decided to do this. You know?
There's no shame anymore, is there?
No, it's all gone, really, hasn't it? You know what I mean? It disappears pretty quick, especially when you're having to do this. It's just, But
so
still.
This was a good experience. I recommend everyone does it.
Yeah? Not Alex's experience. You think that was too far?
No, I think that was good. He kind of deserved that, right?
I don't dispute that at all.
Either way, guys, I can tell you now we have the complete video of Isaac's team, so we can head into that.
While 6 of the 8 teams had their tryouts in different physical locations all over the world, 2 teams did things differently. One of these was Isaac and his team of online warriors, chosen from players doing their tryouts online. All 5 players met for the first time in an apartment in Barcelona in Spain.
Okay, so our gear is ready. So just let's start unboxing.
It was so funny because I think everybody was really happy about that we received so many gifts. It's always cool when Christmas comes early, right?
I have to show you some stuff.
We've managed to do some strats, and this is like the most important thing to do on bootcamp, because while you just meet with other guys, it's so much easier to explain some stuff and to prepare something, and everybody has ideas, and it's much easier to hit people with these ideas.
One smoke should be somewhere here, and one smoke should be somewhere here.
Finally, on location and setup, Isaac started to drill his teammates, but a team must be able to perform in the most extreme of conditions, even if that condition is extremely pleasant.
Oh, the view is so nice here.
Yeah, that's you're right. Let's play some CS.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I know that I've picked right players, because I know that they are skilled, but I'm always I always think that the atmosphere in the team is really important, and I know that we just fit, you know.
Wydaje mi się, że mamy duże szanse na wygraną. Jednym z powodów, dla których mogliśmy przegrać, to jest wychylanie niepotrzebne, jakieś złe zagrywki. Dlatego, że to może być właśnie nasza zguba.
There's like a saying in Poland that Isaac always wins, so I think the only place that will actually make us happy will be first.
Wow, they got to go on a proper little holiday there, much like you, Chad.
It's nice.
Everyone loves a good holiday.
Yeah. I think Isaac's got a good chance here. We've now established that his team are, you know, around him, ready to go, and there's some pretty high-level skill in there. Maybe we should move on to predictions.
Yeah, I saw a default smoke on Cash there, so I'm feeling pretty confident in Isaac's team. Now, honestly, I believe in Zonic, but I'm pretty sure I recognize at least one of the players of Isaac's team, so I'm going to have to go with those guys, just overall.
Chad, I'm going to get your prediction and then rope in our casters to get theirs also.
Yeah, based on which team's actually good in real-world Counter-Strike, Virtus Pro are much better than Mouse Sports. So we'll go with Isaac's team.
Very
solid
simple,
logic. I like that
way of looking at things. I like it. Very nice logic. And now, guys, let me introduce you all watching to. I mean, I say introduce. In this instance, I'm sure you already know who they are. It is, of course, Anders and Semler. Guys, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, but that isn't even logic, Chad. Like, everyone's saying that, yeah, good logic. Like, they happen to be from the same country, so
yeah, that makes sense, right?
Definitely doesn't.
You got to go with something like that, right? That's why Australians are bad.
That vacation needed to be a lot longer, I reckon.
It was meant to be.
Well, all right, you had to come.
Well, and then you came back for this.
Yeah.
Oh, Anders, you made him feel bad.
Anyway, guys, sorry, we're getting off topic. I've got to get the predictions out of you guys.
All right, I'm gonna go with Sonics on this one. I feel like he's gonna be good enough to do this.
I don't know if you can see it.
Is that Mickey Mouse?
No, it's like a koala. Hold on, let me put some eucalyptus or something. This is Chad's prediction. I'm going with Chad's prediction.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much. And everyone watching, what you'll see on the bottom of the screen now is that you can actually vote and challenge our predictions here on set. And all you need to do is put exclamation mark and then either of the players' names, Zonix or Izuku. Wow. So I'm not surprised by this because Izuku is an extremely popular streamer, and
I want everyone to vote right now for Sonics just so I can beat everyone else.
Yeah, okay. Let's get some exclamation marks on it.
Doesn't matter what you think, just vote for Sonics now.
This is your logic, isn't it?
Yeah.
95-5. That's a lot of pressure on the Polish team.
Listen.
He moved to 1%.
1% is the Anders influence.
Listen. Hillary was at like 98%. Votes don't mean anything. They don't mean anything.
But I tell you what, you guys can take it away completely because we are done here now on the analyst portion of this. Guys, please take it away.
So, the community heavily in favor, obviously, of Isaac's team, and maybe there's a good reason for it. I'm surely looking forward to seeing if that's going to be the case. Now, if you want a little bit more info while you're voting, maybe we should head into the head-to-head video that we've got going on with Sonics and Isaacs. Let's check that out. All right, we're going to be quick back out of that video. What do you think, Samler? Who's your favorite for this one? You just go with Chad's prediction? You're not even gonna come up with anything?
You guys might get a better view of my koala, like angry koala with a look eucalyptus.
I thought he was wrestling Crocs. That doesn't even make any sense, does it?
I was under pressure. I'm not a speed artist. Come on.
All right.
I talk for a living. I don't draw. All right. What did he say?
They have what?
No way. Did you go? Like, how did you figure that out? Did you guys actually hear that? I hope.
I definitely hope not. Definitely hope not. Regardless, I would much rather wrestle a koala than I would a crocodile.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
Dear Lord, what have we gotten ourselves into?
I might go for the croc after that. Okay, never mind.
All right.
I'm losing it, Anders. I'm losing it. It's been too long.
It has been too long. It's Christmas and everything, all wrapped into one. So
it's not looking good for you, Anders.
It's not looking good, is it? Just 5%. Look, you know what? That surely means if I win, I win much bigger, right? I get like a what, like a 10-to-1 return on my investments in that case.
You get a
more
lot,
than that. Yeah. Like, so okay, well, let's keep that in mind for when Sonics eventually wins. I desperately want that.
Yeah, okay, fine, bro. Look, it went up 2% since you started talking. So you still have the community. They're kind of like, you know, watching your back somewhat.
I like it.
It's good. It's good. And yeah, I mean, I just think this is Izaku's chance, basically Isaac's chance to wave the flag for all the commentators out there to shut everybody up. You know, commentators don't know what to play. They don't know how to play. They don't know anything. Boom. Isaac's chance to just roll out, own some people. I mean, Zonix, he's got a history in the German scene. Been around for ages.
Yeah, he has. Are you saying he hasn't done enough in that time?
Not in CSGO. I mean, we haven't seen him at all in CSGO, have we?
I mean, only in the beginning, right? And then he sort of he disappeared after the first year or so and didn't really do anything, which is kind of a shame. Like, I actually feel like if you just looked at the first year of CSGO, I think out of all the sort of German players that were there, he actually, I think, had more promise than most.
Well, let's see, Anders, because now it is time for the head-to-head. So let's go ahead and throw there and see how these two captains fared.
I got a really young team. They're all newcomers, but I think they're on the good way to the next level and they're ready to play.
My team is a mixture of experienced players and some really young talents, and I think it's like a really good solution for winning in CSGO.
I feel we have just to be confident, play together, just help each other, and that's how we're gonna win.
We really like each other, we have a lot of fun, and they trust me as their in-game leader, and I trust them as my players.
When you know how good you are, and you can go with a fresh head in the game, you can do everything you want.
I have like really good two snipers. We have some really good entry fraggers who can actually get in the site and get really fast two frags without even noticing their opponents. So I think it will work really well.
We're ready. I hope you guys are ready too, and we will see who's better on the server.
I just came here to win. That's why we've been practicing, and this will be our strength, that our motivation, and we've used this month to practice and prepare for this tournament.
All right, then. So there we go. Interesting approach there from the different captains. They seem very serious about it. Not like Chad, who just goes off on vacation, but they definitely seem like they had their teams fairly well prepared, I would say.
But from the sounds of it, I mean, you know, I have a whole lot more confidence in my pick in Isaac now. Just because he sounded like he knew his team, like he knew the strengths, knew the weaknesses, knew how to play with them, how to secure that win. And like he said, Anders, he's only here for the big W. And so, and then all I heard from Zonix, was just, you know, the usual mouse sports approach, right? We're here to play for each other like a team. If they trust in me, we will.
He could just be a better salesman.
Come on, man. Give me something, right? I know. Where's your elevator pitch? He's got to work on it.
Yeah, I mean that could make a difference, but it could also mean that they've got like, you know, an inflated confidence. You know, they're feeling really good, really powerful, like they're in it to win it and all that, and then.
And then they just get shut down. Is that what you're saying, right? You know, they're brittle. They're like a glass cannon.
Yeah, I think if you come in with too much confidence like this, it could be dangerous. I'd take it one round at a time in the beginning and not expect anything at all. I think it's dangerous.
Zonix is just going to show up, man, and he's going to hit that cannon just right, and it's all going to shatter, right? Double op as well. Imagine that. He loses 2 players immediately if the cannon goes up.
Well, we are going to find out. I do want to remind you before we get into it, the tournament is presented to you by Intel and ROG, and also this game is brought to you by ROG Strix GL502.
you.